Hey everybody, welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports all the time. I am Sports Director Brandon Bosser.
What is up? It is yours truly, sports anchor Devin J. Martin. Welcome into the show. It's time to talk playoffs.
That's right. Welcome to the busiest time of the year for us. 4 championships for both boys and girls in Maryland, 5 in Delaware. Oh, and Salisbury University has a few title contenders also to talk about.
Brandon, when you list out all those different championships, I don't know how we are not going to be swamped with keeping busy with all that different action. But the good news is, the more busy we are, the more we get to get fans out there and players out there on TV, more recognition, so the more action that you guys get to see.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully we get as many titles as we possibly can this spring. We start with some exciting finishes between the Nets today for regional semifinals of the MPSSAA playoffs. 1 loss, and you're done.
That's right, Brandon. The most exciting time of the year. Each win, a team draws closer to their ultimate goal. But a loss in the season is a wrap. So let's start out in Berlin. The Bayside South champs, Decatur hosting Parkside. The Seahawks came out the gate on fire, taking an 8-3 lead at half and then leading later on 9-4 in the third quarter. But it was a tale of 2 halves for the Seahawks. The Rams made some adjustments and willed their way back into the game, making the Seahawks sweat. The offense for the Seahawks completely collapsed in the second half. Maybe the feeling and the hangover from their Bayside championship loss against Penn Island earlier this week. The Rams shut them out in the third quarter 3-0 to make the game competitive. Scores 9-7 heading into the fourth.
Yeah, this reminds me of the last time that these two teams met, but the Seahawks would live to see another day. Graham Geiser sealing the win for the Seahawks with this goal right here. And Decatur's going to take it 10-8. Great fight by the Rams, though.
Yep.
Just like the last game, they were able to battle back and make this one close at the end. But after the game, we asked Seahawks head coach Hoffie Hoffman his thoughts on this victory.
They swept us 3 times last year. We came in with a gritty attitude this year that it wasn't going to happen that way again. Luckily, we were able to pull out the sweep of them this year and move on in the States. You know, it's a non-stop. Our defense played great. Our goalie is phenomenal. He's been our anchor all year, and our offense stepped up in the times that they needed to.
So those Seahawks will take on the winner of Bennett and Easton. They squared off at the Shipyard earlier today. Now this game very similar to the other regional semifinal. Easton led big in the first half before giving up a few late goals to make the game a little more interesting. Here's Connor McLaughlin going to drill it in for the Clippers, and that's going to cut into that deficit, and Easton somewhat sweating out there.
Yeah, and I don't think it was intentional. They didn't want this game to be as close as it was, but Nolan Shearer and the Clippers had other plans. He had 2 big second-half goals that put the game within striking distance for Bennett, but you see the other one right there. Easton was too much for them. Again, the Clippers showed a lot of heart in the third and fourth quarter. It looked like they were going to get blown out, but they decided that, no, we are still in this game.
Beautiful
but
quick stick.
You see that right there. It was too much skill for Easton, some breathing room, and Caden Atkins up next is going to finish off the Clippers right here with that beautiful shot right above
That's a snipe job.
Yep, right above the shoulder of the goalie. So they're securing their spot in the 2A regional championship against the Seahawks. Now Shearer led the way for Easton with 4 goals.
All right, now let's move over to the girls' side.
Yep, and we'll begin with the defending 2A champs taking on their rivals, the Kent Island Bucks, in the second round. Piper Evans coming from around the X. She gets a seam and fires low, and that is a result that they wanted. Then Zoe Crawford with almost the same play, running gun to her right, firing at the ground, and it's in. And then back to Evans, and patience pays off for her. Evans with 5 tallies on the evening, and she led the Lions in goals.
Yeah, and Ella Pinder with the rock right here. Nice base dodge, and then nothing Kent Island can do about this. The Lions just too strong. They muscle their way on to the regional final, and Queen Anne's takes it 20-8. We spoke with the head coach about keeping their eyes on that prize.
Last year, we were able to make it to a state final, and that's what they wanted again this year. So the goal is always there. Queen Anne's women's lacrosse has always had a successful program, and that's our goal every year. So the expectation's always there, and these girls know how to bring that pressure onto themselves.
All right, back here in the city of Salisbury, Parkside and Bennett tussling in second round action. Parkside off and running early. There's Sydney Stone with the score. How about Haley Urban in traffic? Doesn't matter how many you put on her. Urban dunking it in. Impressive play from her, who used her size to her advantage. Clippers doing all they could to stay in this one. Aceto on the cutter, and she gets it and rips it. Bennett just didn't have the firepower, though, to keep up with the top-ranked team in the bracket in 2A. As the Parkside Rams are moving on to the regional final, they now let's take a look at those 2A regional final brackets. Devin, go ahead and take it away.
On Monday, this set up a whole bunch of great games that you want to see. First, on the boys' side, number 1 seed Kent Island, number 2 seed Queen Anne's, and as we mentioned earlier, number 1 seeded Decatur Seahawks facing off against Easton. I'm very excited for those games.
Yeah, and on the girls' side, Parkside, the 1 seed, taking on 2 seed North Caroline, and Queen Anne's is the one. They will take on the 2 seed C. Milton Wright. Now, Devin, I think that honestly, on the boys' side, I think we're going to see Kent Island rolling through the 2A and on to the Elite 8, because we've seen what Kent Island can do to these teams here on the Bay side. They took on Decatur, the best that the South has to offer.
Yeah.
16-0 in the Bayside Championship.
That was shellacking.
That was just an impressive performance by Kent Island. And I think it's a carryover from their football team that we saw in the fall, because their football team was great, disciplined, very physical, and that's something that you bring over to the lacrosse field as well.
Yep.
And we've seen Kent Island very, very successful so far this spring. On the girls' side, though, you gotta love what you're seeing out of Queen Anne's. They're the defending champs, and you're seeing why they're the defending champs.
You mentioned Kent Island. I mean, I was at that Bayside Championship game, and as you mentioned, 16-0. I had never seen a team kind of do that to Decatur this year.
What were they doing specifically to keep the Decatur Seahawks off the board?
I mean, just everything, especially the defense. I mean, the defense was amazing. Even when they were a man or two down, they were still being able to get stops against the Seahawks. And the Seahawks have been very good. I mean, what happened to the Seahawks in the championship game is normally what they have been doing to the other teams all year. So when it comes to Kent Island, I agree with you. I could see them going even further. And then obviously in the 2A and on this side, Decatur, I think they can beat Easton, but it's going to be really tough, because you should have heard some of the things their coach was saying to him, Hoffy Hoffman, after the game, because they won. He was very happy, but he told him, he's like, listen, if you guys play like this and get, shellacked in the second half like this, the effort is not gonna cut it against Easton, but you're gonna find yourself sitting at home. But I think Decatur kind of learned their lessons from both of those games, kind of got humbled a little bit, and can show that they really want this and want to go even further and maybe to the Elite 8. So
yeah, we'll see what happens in the next round against Easton. But let's switch gears now and move over to baseball. What a game this turned out to be. Maybe the best game that we've seen this entire season.
Yep.
Bennett hosting Crofton in round 1. Crofton took the lead early, but here come the Clippers. Bennett without star player Jai Sample, but here comes the freshman Corey Fisher coming in to close this one out for Bennett. Home team up 1 in the 7th. But 1 on, 2 out now. This is where the fire begins to get out of control. Base hit blooper into left field over the shortstop's head. 2 outs, next batter, and this ball is ball 4. It's going to load the bases. 1-run lead, high drama at the Shipyard. Ball gets by. Here comes the runner from third. Tagged out at the plate.
Wow. Yep.
Devin, that's unbelievable.
I know.
You come home, 2 outs, bottom 7,
bases loaded,
playoff game. You got to make it there. You cannot get tagged out at the plate, but hats off to Bennett right there. Making the play when you need to make it, and now they're moving on to the next round.
Yeah, that was one of the clutchest plays I've seen in terms of, the Bennett pitching with the catcher. I mean, the catcher didn't catch it initially, but he was able to get it to him just quick enough and get the tag out.
And one thing that we haven't seen sometimes some of these games in high school this season, be able to come in and cover the base that you need to. Great job by the pitcher there covering home plate. Let's hear from the player after the game.
Jake Ziervogel came in and he gave us a great effort. Went a little over 2 innings for us. Got that first out there in the 7th. It was a great quality start. Corey Fisher's been our closer all year long, and we just knew in that moment with the game on the line, there was nobody better to go to than Corey.
So I knew Sam was going to get the ball to me. We had time. I knew he was coming in head first, so I got the ball and I looked to find his hand and got my glove down to his hand and made the last out.
We were told to stay locked in. Stay locked in, keep your head in the game, don't pull out, and we were definitely capable to pull away with this win earlier, but a few mental errors, but we cleaned it up.
Now moving over to the softball field right down the street. It was Parkside hosting Y-High, and the Rams got off to a hot start with a 2-run RBI single into right field. The Rams were up early and big on the Tribe, and you can see right there another base hit. And Riley Parson in the box, she drives it into left field for the RBI single. Blair Smith comes in to score, and the Rams will just keep on rolling. Kelsey Duncan puts this one into center field, bringing home another run for the Rams. Parkside win big in the second, and they go into the second round of the playoffs as they destroy the Tribe in a final score of 22-0.
All right, let's take a look at the remaining teams in these brackets now. Tomorrow, we have Decatur hosting Bennett at 1 in the 3A. Can't wait to be at that game tomorrow.
Yep.
Over in 2A, Parkside hosting Queen Anne's at noon, and the Rams winning that 1 seed. Kent Island and North Caroline tangling at 1 o'clock, and the winners of those games meet in the regional finals. Now over in 1A, 8 teams remaining. The other 2 games not pictured on your screen in 1A, St. Michael's and North Dorchester, and Pocomoke will travel to Mardella, both games taking place at 1 o'clock.
And then these games all taking place on Monday in softball. In the 3A, Decatur hosts 3-seed Arundel in the round 2. In the 2A, Queen Anne's, the top seed, hosts number 4 Kent Island. Parkside will travel to 2-seed North Carolina, and 4 games in the 1A. North Dorchester and Cambridge. St. Michael's hosts Colonel. And on the other side of the bracket, we have Mardella hosting Pocomoke, and Snow Hill and Washington battling it out on Monday. So yeah, it's been a very exciting time, especially here on the mound and in the circle. Again, I was at that Bennett game against Crofton. I was just so shocked in terms of they were up, but then in that inning the bases were loaded. As you mentioned, Crofton went for it. They were only down 1, so that was a tying run. So they didn't have to make that play, but he went for it instead, and it was just bang, bang. It could have went either way, because I know a lot of the fans and some of the parents in the stands for Crofton were not too happy with the call.
I ain't gonna lie. I watched that frame by frame. I'm not sure if he wasn't safe.
To be honest with you, I was like, was he out? But I'm not gonna dispute it. I'm not, it is what
umpire
it is.
calls him out. He's out. Bennett's
he's out.
moving on.
Right. And so, but that was a very clutch play by Corey Fisher. Again,
right.
He coming in to relieve the game, and obviously Jai Sample not there for the entire night. But for him, bases loaded, obviously had a couple miscues to get the bases loaded, but being able to come up with that play, they needed one out, and they got it.
Right. We've been talking about the Bayside South all year long. Who's the best team out there? Well, we've got the best 2 teams in 3A that are left. The only 2 teams in 3A that are left. Bennett versus Decatur. They're 2 of the top, I would say, 3 or 4 teams in the Bayside South this year. They're going to match up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Can't wait for that game. So that's one of the exciting games coming up tomorrow, but we have a few really exciting games coming in the 1A, 2A, and 3A tomorrow. Make sure you stick around tomorrow night for all the highlights, and we'll also have final scores from around the rest of the Bayside teams. All right, stay with us. When we come back, we've got a special interview subject who's got a brand new book out on the entire history of Bayside basketball. You're watching DSI.
Hi, my name is Amir Maddox, and I play D-tackle at Delmarva High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.